It was 2 a.m. when the front door slammed open with enough force to rattle the windows. I bolted upright on the couch, still half tangled in a blanket, convinced this was the real thing, a home invasion, the kind you see on the news and hope never happens to you. A figure stepped inside, casual as if he had a key, and immediately started yanking open drawers and cabinets. My heart was hammering so hard I could feel in my throat. I fumbled for my phone in the dark, thumb already hovering over 911. He turned, caught the glow of the screen, and looked straight at me. 19, maybe 20, expensive hoodie, designer sneakers that practice smirk rich kids were like armor. My mom runs the HOA, he said, like it was the most natural explanation in the world, so I can go wherever I want. The words hung there, absurd and infuriating. Cold leftover pizza smell mixed with the sharp tang of adrenaline as he kept ransacking my kitchen, pulling out drawers, dumping silverware, rifling through cabinets like he was shopping for snacks. What Trevor Ashworth and his mother Vivian didn't realize in that moment was that entitlement doesn't stop handcuffs from clicking shut. Those metal bracelets were about to feel a lot heavier than his sense of immunity. 3 months earlier, I had pulled into Willowbrook Estates, thinking I'd finally found somewhere safe to land. The streets were clean, the houses neat, the schools decent enough for Zoe. I'm Marcus Rodriguez, electrician by trade, single dad by circumstance, freshly escaped from a divorce that had burned through everything we once had. All I wanted was quiet, grass cut on Saturdays, HOA dues paid on time, maybe a wave or two from neighbors while Zoe and I rebuilt something normal. Paradise, or at least the suburban version of it. Then I met Vivian Ashworth. Picture the worst HOA stereotype you've ever heard. Give her a late-model BMW, a McMansion that dwarfed every other house on the block, and an unshakable belief that the neighborhood existed solely to reflect her personal vision of perfection. 52 years old, married to an insurance executive who was rarely seen, she had declared herself Neighborhood Standards Coordinator, a title that appeared nowhere in the 47-page bylaws, but carried the weight of gospel in her mind. My introduction wasn't a welcome basket. It was a violation notice jammed into my mailbox during week 3. Non-regulation mailbox color. Brown post must be black. $50 fine. 72 hours to comply. I read the bylaws front to back. Searched every section on mailboxes, signage, exterior elements. Nothing. Not a single word about color. I called the HOA hotline. It rang straight to her cell. Ashworth residence. Hi, Marcus from Maple Street. I got a violation for the mailbox color, but the bylaws don't mention anything about that. I've been maintaining community standards for 15 years. I think I know what's appropriate. I'm sure you do, but can you point me to the exact rule? Click. She hung up. The next morning, another notice arrived. Excessive garden gnome display. I owned exactly one gnome. A small, red-hatted figure Zoe had chosen because it made her smile on days when everything else felt broken. Apparently, one gnome qualified as a display. Then the surveillance began. Every morning, without fail, her black BMW rolled past at precisely 15 miles per hour. Phone pressed to the passenger window, lens pointed at my house like she was gathering evidence for a federal case. Zoe noticed first. Dad, why does the mean lady keep taking pictures of our house? I had no answer that wouldn't scare her. Dolores, the 70-year-old grandmother 3 doors down, pulled me aside one afternoon while Vivian's car idled at the curb. She's marked you now, Mijo, she whispered, glancing nervously over her shoulder. The young couple who lived here before you. New baby, nice people. She hounded them over sprinkler schedules, twice a week maximum, never Sundays, never before 9, until they couldn't take it anymore and sold. She invents half these rules on the spot and enforces them like they're carved in stone. What I didn't know yet was that Vivian's small cruelties were only the opening act. Her son Trevor had grown up marinating in the belief that rules were for other people. College dropout, trust fund lifestyle, zero accountability. He had watched his mother bend the neighborhood to her, will his entire life. Soon he would decide the same logic applied beyond property lines, straight into felony territory. 2 weeks after the known violation, she escalated. Saturday morning, 8 o'clock sharp. Doorbell ringing like an alarm. I answered in boxers and bedhead, still tasting burnt coffee from the pot I'd forgotten. Vivian stood on the porch in full regalia. Clipboard, measuring tape, digital camera. Behind her loomed Trevor. First time I'd seen him up close. Designer everything, that smirk already locked in place. "Mr. Rodriguez," she declared, "I'm conducting routine property compliance inspections today." Routine inspections. Since when? Since always. Community standards require regular assessment. Trevor snickered. "Nice pajamas, dude." I'd already spent late nights on HOA law forums and state statutes. Private property inspections require explicit bylaw authorization, clear, written language. I crossed my arms. "Show me the section that gives you authority to enter or inspect private property." "General maintenance clause," she snapped. "Which section exactly?" She ignored the question and started circling my yard like she owned the deed. Trevor trailed her, pointing out imaginary defects. Trash cans visible from the street. They were behind a 6-foot fence. Garden hose improperly stored, coiled tighter than a spring. Window screens, excessive oxidation, 8 years of normal weathering. Driveway oil stain exceeds acceptable parameters, quarter-size spot left by the previous owner. I finally blocked her path to the front door. "Show me the bylaw in writing. Right now, or get off my property." Trevor straightened. "Dude, you can't talk to her like that. She runs this place. She's a volunteer on a committee, not royalty." Vivian's face flushed crimson. "You'll be hearing from the board. Formal proceedings will be initiated." She stormed back to the BMW. Trevor lingered long enough to snap photos of my electrical meter and license plate. "You have no idea who you're messing with," he said. "You're about to find out what trespassing looks like on camera if you don't leave." He laughed, that entitled, dismissive sound, and sauntered away. That evening, the city code enforcement line rang. Anonymous complaint. Unlicensed electrical work at my address. Inspector arriving Monday. I'd done code-compliant upgrades. New outlets, ceiling fan, nothing exotic. But someone had watched closely enough to file a believable tip. Monday, the inspector arrived. Thorough, friendly. After an hour, he signed off. "Everything's perfect. Whoever called this and doesn't know code or was just trying to harass you." Third anonymous complaint on this house in 2 weeks. 3 in 2 weeks. Same caller. Vivian shifted tactics. Violation notices started arriving like subscription mail. Out-of-season decorations, a small flag by the door. Unauthorized vehicle modification, floor mats barely visible through tinted glass. Noise violation, circular saw at 10 a.m. on Saturday. Fines climbed steadily, $50, $75, $100 each time. I documented obsessively. Photos, timestamps, drive-by logs. Started recording calls, single-party consent state. Filed formal disputes for every notice. Responses were always vague delays. Forwarded to the board, pending schedule. The board hadn't met in 8 months. Vivian controlled the calendar. Then Trevor began nighttime visits. 11 p.m. Gravel crunching under careful footsteps. Flashlight sweeping the yard. I stepped outside. "What are you doing here?" "Official HOA business. Noise complaints." At 11. "From who?" "Can't reveal sources." "You're trespassing. Leave or police." He shrugged. "Go ahead. My mom runs this neighborhood. Cops aren't going to believe some divorced loser over her." I started dialing. He vanished into the dark. Cameras went up the next morning. Dolores brought intercepted notices, dispute letters. Vivian's cousin, the mail carrier, had conveniently lost. Bernard, retired postal worker, showed patterns going back 15 years. Janet from legal aid researched mail tampering statutes. Then the lien notice arrived, hand-delivered by Trevor with his usual smirk. Intent to file property lien. $1,247 in fines plus administrative fees. 30 days or foreclosure proceedings begin. The paper trembled in my hand. My house, the one stable thing Zoe still had, was suddenly on the line. She found me at the kitchen table at midnight, staring at the threat. "Dad, you okay?" "Just HOA stuff, sweetheart." But inside I was done. Threatening my daughter's home was the line that could never be uncrossed. Janet confirmed. No functioning board meant no legal authority for liens. Vivian's move was fraud. Cameras caught Trevor testing my back door in daylight, peering through windows, trying to jimmy the lock with a credit card. He deliberately left a screwdriver buried in my flower bed, bait for a later return. The plan clicked, fraudulent lien threat, followed by planted evidence to justify it. Mother and son conspiring to force me out. Police reviewed the footage. Officer Martinez, felony behavior. We need him inside to charge burglary. Keep recording. Financial records surfaced next. Monthly $212,000. Legitimate expenses is almost equal to $3,000. Disappearing money, $40,000 plus in 2 years, climbing to $73,000 over 3. Payments to Ashworth Consulting Services, Vivian Shell Company. Inflated contracts to relatives. Phantom repairs never performed. The annual meeting was approaching. Legally required, impossible to cancel forever. We built a presentation, fraud spreadsheets, mail tampering proof, Trevor's footage, everything. Vivian panicked. Tried to cancel citing fake plumbing issues. Community center confirmed nothing wrong. Trevor escalated. Spray-painted snitch on my mailbox. Slashed my truck tires, caught on camera. Distributed smear flyers about me. Backfired. Neighbors rallied harder. Vivian appeared at my door offering a truce. Wipe all violations if I dropped everything. I recorded it. She left threatening to make my life unbearable. The night before the meeting, Trevor struck. House empty. Zoe at a sleepover. I was working late. Motion alerts at 1:30 a.m. I raced home. Front door wide open. Kitchen trashed. Drawers emptied. Papers scattered. Trevor stood in the wreckage, arms full of my meeting documents. Looking for something. I asked, already recording. He spun, still smirking. My mom runs the HOA, so technically I can go wherever I want. You're planning to spread lies tomorrow. Can't let that happen. I kept him talking while I dial 911. Home invasion in progress. Suspect still inside. Police arrived fast. Saw the destruction. Saw Trevor holding stolen papers. Hands where we can see them. Trevor tried one last protest. "Do you know who my mother is? She runs this neighborhood." Hands behind your back. The cuffs clicked. The sound was better than any victory speech. Friday night, the community center overflowed. Standing room only. Word of Trevor's arrest had spread like fire. Vivian sat alone in front. Makeup perfect, but eyes hollow. I started the slides. Bank records. Fake invoices. Shell companies. Violation photos for non-existent rules. Recorded threats. Video of Trevor in my kitchen bragging about his mother's imaginary authority. Text messages between them planning the break-in. The room exploded. Gasps, shouts, demands for justice. Vivian stood. "This is outrageous. Lies." "Sit down, Vivian," someone called. "Let him speak." Detective Williams rose from back. "County Financial Crimes Unit. Search warrant executed this morning on the Ashworth residence. Evidence of embezzlement, mail fraud, conspiracy recovered. Mrs. Ashworth, you need to come with us." She unraveled completely, screaming about persecution, about building the community, about jealousy. Cameras caught every second of the collapse. 6 months later, the same community center hosted the Willowbrook Unity Festival. New playground, LED streetlights, garden beds blooming where Vivian once parked a spy. Dues down 30%. Zoe planted sunflowers in the old surveillance spot, grass-stained and laughing with friends. Trevor received 18 months for felony burglary. Vivian got 36 months plus full restitution. Her BMW, jewelry, vacation home deposit, sold to repay the $78,000 she stole from neighbors. I never asked to be HOA president, but they elected me anyway. Meetings are open now. Budget's transparent. Term limits in place. No more one-person rule. The lesson stays simple. Document everything. Know your rights. Refuse to be intimidated. Bullies with clipboards only have the power you let them keep. And sometimes the sweetest justice is watching a neighborhood remember what community is supposed to feel like. Kids playing without fear, neighbors talking instead of hiding, laughter replacing the old silence of dread. That's what happens when you stop letting someone else's made-up kingdom control your life.